Hello, Dr. Evan Anton here, and this week's video I'm going to be talking about adventure travel and what I pack on these trips. I'm not your conventional traveler. I love adventure. I love adventures! I love getting down and dirty in the bush. Most of my traveling takes place in the tropics. Been to like 30 plus countries, and I love working with animals and seeing them in the wild. And so I think I bring a lot of things that you're just typically not going to see in your average person's suitcase. I've got a really exciting trip next week, less than a week. I leave for South Africa. I love South Africa. I love the wildlife there. I love the people there. It's always such a special experience. And I'm going to pack for this trip as I pack for most trips in the tropics. So we're going to start. Henry, are you scared? I'm sorry. Henry's going to help me out. First things first, you need your passport. That's a must, right? So this is my passport. This is my expired passport. It's kind of good luck. You know, this thing's been to dozens of countries, and so it's just got stamps from really all over the world in here. This is my vaccination certificate, okay? So this is really important. When you travel to a lot of these countries, you need to be vaccinated for a lot of different diseases to make sure you don't get them because things aren't the same as where you're from. So I do have, tetanus, diphtheria, I got yellow fever, rabies, polio, hep A, B, and again, if you're traveling anywhere exotic, especially in the tropics, you're really gonna wanna look into that and get yourself vaccinated. Everybody knows what this is, but I'm often just cracking down coffees and getting busy doing emails, doing paperwork, doing videos. When I want to conk out for a couple hours, it's really nice to just have one of these to do that. Footwear is super important. This is what you're trekking in. This is what you're wearing every day. You want to be comfortable and you want to be effective with where you're going. So for me, hiking boots are a must. These boots have been all over the world. They're pretty busted. I've had to fix them a couple times. I don't want to get new ones just because I love them. I wore them in. They're just kind of special to me too. It's kind of like the old passport, right? I get a lot of riff for these, and these are just about the ugliest shoes, the ugliest piece of footwear that I own. They're aqua socks, and I spend a lot of time in waterways and streams and ponds and lakes and whatnot, looking for wildlife and working with wildlife. And so having something that's really effective in those sort of environments is important. These are particularly ugly because I bought them in Indonesia, and they were literally the only thing that fit me. I think everybody else in that country has a maximum shoe size of about 10, and I wore 12 to 13. Being in the tropics means there's often a lot of nice beaches where you're going. Just some basic kicks. These are just, you gotta realize not every day is in the bush. You're not in the wild hiking jungle all the time. When you're traveling and doing these sorts of trips, you're spending a lot of time getting from point A to point B. There's just so much time in travel. Often it takes a day or two to get from one island to another or one part of a country to another. I always bring a swimsuit. I do a ton of diving too, so I'm spending time in the ocean pretty much everywhere I go. There's always gorgeous coasts pretty much anywhere in the tropics, whether we're talking about Central, South America, Australia, Africa, Southeast Asia. There's always good beaches there. That's just how tropics traveling is. They're known for their beaches. Just basic clothes. I'll bring some t-shirts, little jungle shirt. This thing basically aerates really well. It's a little bit more water resistant. It's comfortable. And so sometimes in the bush I'll wear something like this. So I'm going for neutral colors, and that's because I don't want to stick out too much. I don't want to scare wildlife. I don't want to frighten them. I don't want them to pick up on me any more than they're already going to with their incredible sight, smell, and whatnot. So just some kind of neutral colors. Tank tops, also important for me. I am often traveling to the tropics, so it's hot, and it's nice to just cool down and have a tank top. Of course, you need socks. Everybody needs socks. You need underwear. Everybody needs underwear. I have traveled with people that have forgotten just to bring any underwear or any shirt, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, so just make sure you bring the stuff that anybody would need on a day-to-day. Don't ever leave town without a bow tie. You never know when this is going to come into handy, and this has really saved me a lot of times when I've been in a crunch. Always nice to have a hat. Again, being in the tropics, I'm spending a ton of time in the sun, and so I like to get a little bit of sun, but I don't want to fry my face. Some places I go, it does get a little cold at night, and honestly, as much as anything, it gets chilly in airports sometimes in travel. So it's just nice to have a jacket. I got this awesome little number from my last trip in South Africa, and this was with Rhino 911. That was a lot of fun working with rhinos. This leather belt, it's really nothing special to it. I've just had it for years. And it survives the elements, so I like it, and it pretty much goes everywhere I go when I'm taking big trips like this. It's holding up these cargo pants, or shorts rather, and they're all stained and gnarly. They've been around the world too. It's just nice to have another couple pockets, so I do like having my cargo shorts. Also got some nice durable pants. These look like denim. They're actually stretchy, so they're super comfy. So I can still do my high kicks and kick ass in the jungle, you know? You guys didn't believe me, did you? What's up? It's always nice to have extra storage, so I do bring some like little baggies and stuff. This is like a little waist belt, kind of like a little Rambo belt. Just kind of extra pockets. I don't always wear it, but it is nice to have. This does make me look like a little bit of an alcoholic, and I'm not, but I guess I like Crown Royal a lot. But these little pouches, they're so handy. So I've always got some double and triple A's with me. These are little charging ports. You never know when you're gonna be somewhere that has no electricity or little electricity. Some of the fun stuff, these are flashlights, and they're super bright. They're really quite bright. So when I'm out at night and I'm looking for wildlife or looking for crocodiles or what have you, this thing will shine light all the way across a really big water body and catch the eyeballs of some of the wildlife we're looking at. I'm not encouraging you to do this, but when you are looking for it, a lot of it is easier to find at night, and it's really the reflection of the eyes. These animals are so adapted to hide so effectively during the day that the odds of you actually seeing them are really, really low, even with the experienced eye. Even with some of the guys I go with and have awesome jungle vision that grew up in the jungle or the woods, they don't always see this stuff. And when you have the power of modern day technology and strong flashlights at night, super helpful for spotting some of this stuff. It's always nice to have a headlamp. A lot of times I'm doubling up and I got a headlamp and a flashlight in one hand, and I'm just like looking everywhere, shining everywhere, and trying to see what I can see. Hi, Willie. How you doing? Hi. That'll bring me some of the fun stuff. These are like my toys. These are my pride and joy that I'm going to show you. One, trusty snake hook. This thing goes everywhere I go. If I'm going anywhere that has snakes, the hook's coming. This one telescopes, so I just kind of unloosen these, and this, it's kind of jammed, but it's been around. It's a little bit busted, but does the job. It's had a lot of different species of venom on it, and it's I love it. It's very important. Gotta have your snake hook. This has come really in handy when I'm working with some of the crocodiles or alligators I'm trying to relocate, or if they're injured in the wild, or even if we're working with them at a wildlife sanctuary and it's just hard to get them. This is basically a monopod that I've modified into a croc snare, and so this thing expands like so. So it's pretty good length. It's over 5 feet. This is the snare, and say I want to catch a wild crocodile or a wild willy. You just get that snare around its neck and gently pull the straps at the other end of the pole, and you got yourself a little willy. It's kind of like a rabies pole. I don't use it for that, but I guess it could function like that. Thank you, Willy. Snake grabbing device. I have to put a little pin in to get it to work, but basically, so it's nice wide mouth, so it puts a very gentle pressure on the snake that I'm grabbing. Again, I don't use it a lot, but it is nice to have. That would be obviously more for venomous snakes. There's really not a non-venomous snake that I'm not comfortable just trying to grab with my hands. That's the easiest, most effective way for me to grab a non-venomous snake. Always nice to have some knives on you. You know, I'm not out there, getting violent or anything, but it is nice to have a little bit of protection. Some of these places aren't the safest, so even just having a knife, I think, and just being a big guy does deter people from messing with me. People have attempted to rob me before, but usually they just have some crummy little knife on them, or they're just really drunk, and so I'm just like, get the hell out of here, dude. This is a machete. So actually I had a real, like a modern, Western world machete that I traded in the Philippines for this little number. I love this thing, and it's actually super effective. But bushwhacking is a big part of what you're doing. When you're going through untrekked bush or little trekked bush or new ground, I mean, it can just be super thick. Bring this out too. So I don't always bring all these knives, but it is nice to have a couple blades on you. I always bring a pocket knife too. I don't have it out here, but that is handy as well. Gotta have your trusty stethoscope, right? Hi, Henry. Thank you. This is a tent. I don't always bring it, but it is nice to have. I do a lot of camping when I go places. Often that takes place on a hammock, which I don't have out here either. This is a blow-up mattress. This one is like a hand pump air mattress, so it shrinks down to a pretty good size. I actually do usually bring this because you never know where you're gonna sleep. This is like a little travel pillow. It does compact quite a bit. This is a travel towel. They dry pretty quick. Even in the tropics where it's humid as heck, and there's so much moisture in here, these things will dry out to a degree. Man, I can't stress enough how much I've loved having this. This is a silk sleeping bag, and so it's a very thin layer. It's made of silk. There are times where I'm staying places, and it's it's just disgusting. It's like I just wouldn't even want to touch this bed with a 10-foot pole or this floor or whatever it is, but I have no choice. I have to sleep somewhere. And so if I'm stuck in some situation where the hotel or hostel or whatever the hell it is just super nasty conditions, I can separate myself from that with one little layer. So having just a basic dry pack, I'll put some stuff in here, roll it up, it stays dry, and I don't have to worry about it getting wet at all. This thing is badass, it just looks cool and it functions. I can get through a day with food, electronics, gear, animal stuff, no problem with this bag. This is my backpacking bag. A lot of backpacker bags open from the top. I'm not a big fan of that because when you open from the top, it means you have to pull all your shit out just to get what you want sometimes. So I don't like that. I like this duffel style, and it just opens right in front. It's always nice to have a few extra carabiners. Mom, stop watching this right now. I don't even want you to think about this. Dad, you too. There are snakes that I work with that are very deadly, and they have what's called a neurotoxic venom. Neurotoxic venom shuts down your nervous system, and the really deadly thing that it does is it basically stops your diaphragm, which is what makes your lungs basically expand and contract, and it makes you breathe. It stops that from functioning. When you stop breathing, obviously your livelihood is very short at that point. And so this is like a little breather. So if somebody has to breathe for me, they can just put this right on my face and then breathe right here. Never had to use it. You know, maybe just having it just makes me a little bit safer when I'm out there. I always bring this. Maybe it's good luck. I don't need it, and I haven't had to use it too much. But it's this old school. It's like a couple hundred years old. This compass. I like to bring it with me, and it just makes me feel like a cool explorer. Got my little compass, can kind of follow the sun and stuff, you know. Do not forget toilet paper. There's been seriously so many times this has literally saved my ass. The last thing you want to do is be in a situation where you would need it. You don't have it, right? That would be terrible. You know, bring your basic toiletries. Everybody's different. You know, these are some of the stuff I bring. You know yourself. But some of the special stuff that I also bring are some backup medications. So one of those, this is metronidazole. I've had some nasty tropical diseases, and if I would have had this, it would have made me feel a lot better a lot sooner. This is Malarone. Malarone is probably the best anti-malarial option. This is ciprofloxacin. This is another just traveler's diarrhea. It's an antibiotic. And if I got some nasty GI stuff going on, I'll take these for a few days, and it really saves me in a bind when I want to stay active and stay productive and not let, a grumpy gut and diarrhea ruin my day. I always take a little bit of prednisone with me too. This is steroid. This is probably not something that travelers commonly take. I'm really allergic to poison ivy and poison oak. I've had allergies to like other random plants around the world, and it just sucks. When we're in the tropics and it's that wet and muggy, and you're just like, in your own sweat and skin inflammation, it's like just freaking miserable. So this just kind of takes care of that. Basic pair of hemostats. Basic surgical instrument. These things have saved my butt so many times. And these things have picked out some gnarly splinters. I had the nastiest abscess like on the inside of my big toe toenail on my right foot, and some rock got like lodged in there. So I had to like pick it out and flush it out, and it was so painful and brutal. Capturing your trip is super important. And so I always bring my camera phone, which is what I'm using to film this right now, my tripod, which is what it's standing on. This is my SLR camera. It's a very basic Canon SLR. It's a few years old. It's a T3i. Does the job. It's got a flip screen, which is super convenient when I'm trying to record, like video record certain things. It does take gorgeous pictures. I mean, honestly, if you guys are doing trips like this and you can afford a few $100 just to get a basic SLR, it is so worth it. It makes your pictures really gorgeous. I wouldn't call myself a photographer, but if you have even just a little bit of an eye for what would be a beautiful picture, and you just let these guys do the rest of the work, you can capture some really special stuff, and the pictures just come out amazing. Because I see so much wildlife, for me, a big lens is super important. And so this is a 70 to 300. So when I'm trying to capture, say, a bird that's really high up in the trees, or some primate that's really far away, or whatever it is. I mean, you just never know with wildlife, and a lot of times the only way you're going to see it is far away. If you get close, they're going to disappear. This also comes in handy. This is a little submergible camera. So you can have a GoPro. I have a GoPro. I'll bring that too. But this thing's awesome because the difference is it's got that screen. So you can kind of see what you're doing and what you're taking pictures of. I think it only goes like 10 meters. So you can't quite take it on a dive, but you can take it on a pretty deep snorkel. And I've gotten some of my favorite like snorkeling and shallow diving pictures and video come from this thing. These are the hardest things to say goodbye to, all right? And I'm not leaving anywhere yet. I know you guys see me pack and you get nervous, but it's all good. But I'm really looking forward to this trip. I can't wait to get back to Africa. That's one of my favorite continents. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys get a little bit of a handle to see what it's like to be me when I travel based on the things that I bring when I travel. It's a lot of baggage. It's a lot of stuff. My bags aren't the lightest, but I'm a big guy. I can handle it. Now it's time to pack all this stuff up. You think I can do it? Watch this. This is a big part of the process for me, just packing. It just really gets you excited. It gets you stoked about where you're going. It makes you think about what you're going to be doing and just helps with your whole itinerary and agenda. And it's part of the fun. How you like me now? Let's go see the world! Okay, I'm not gonna lie. As I was packing, I realized I kind of forgot some stuff. This is like an international converter adapter, a pillowcase and a strap. Don't forget your shades. This is a little soundbox thing. It's always nice to have a writing utensil. I've been on so many planes and they never provide pens when I'm filling out customs documents. This is a lot of times how I catch snakes. If they have to go somewhere and I have to relocate them, they can stay in the case. We spin them up. We get the strap on it. They don't get out. Good to go. So on the notion of snake hooks, if you guys want to see an awesome video with a really gorgeous snake in Costa Rica, go ahead and click this link. This was a jumping pit viper. They produce just tons of venom, and they've got a massive head full of massive venom glands, and they're just dumping venom. So if you want to see a crazy snake venom video, please scope that one out. I think you'll enjoy it. And thanks for watching. Take care.